Hola! Hello! My name is Marion Baldus. There's a picture where you can see me in action. It was on a symposium on inclusive education, which is one of the subjects I'm teaching and I'm doing research. And on this picture you see me and a little boy who has Down syndrome. And at this symposium, which was taking place in the University of Applied Science, we were talking about schools for all. In 2006, we got a new building at the campus of the University of Applied Science in Mannheim. The next picture shows you the front entrance of that building. This is a very modern, new and translucent building. It's about made for 450 students, so we are a pretty small faculty of social work. Since 2006, we had been an own University of Applied Science, but because of a structure and a reform process, we had been adopted by that University of Applied Science Mannheim, which used to be a technical school in former times. You also can see the logo of the Faculty of Social Science, which has been done by a woman, a lady with a learning disability, and she took part in an art project. I also teach art and art education and art therapy, and she transformed that rather technical logo of the University of Applied Science by giving it a very colorful and expressive shape. You might be interested to learn a bit about Mannheim, where it is and where it is located and how big it is. So on the next slide you can see Germany, and of course you see Spain and Madrid. And quite close to Frankfurt is Mannheim. It's about in a distance of 80 kilometers. Close by Heidelberg, which is a very famous city because of the old famous castle. Many people, many tourists come there every year. Mannheim is a middle-sized city. It has about 2,050 inhabitants. It's very attractive for industry, for tourists, for students. From there to the airport, to Frankfurt, it's a ride of about 35 minutes by train, and it takes another 3 hours to come here to Madrid. Right in the area around Mannheim, if you try to cut a circle of about 100 kilometers, there are at least 6 other places where you can study social work. Most of the places are governmental universities of applied science. Some are private. So you have a real choice. To study social work is extremely popular in Germany. Every year we have around 3,000 applicants who would like to come to our place and study social work. Unfortunately, we can only admit 130 a year. So you can see it's a very popular training course. The first degree you earn is the Bachelor of Sciences. It takes 7 semesters, 7 terms to get that degree. After that, you can continue and do the master course, which takes another 3 terms. After that, if you still would like to continue your academic training, you can go and do your doctoral studies. It's pretty new now in Germany that there's a cooperative doctoral study, so you can do it in cooperation with a university, the full academic university and a University of Applied Sciences. We ourselves in Mannheim cooperate with the university in Frankfurt, which is called Johann Wolfgang Goethe University. So out of these 7 terms, there is one practical term. In this practice term, the students go out and do field work, and they go there for about 100 days and will be accompanied by professors supervised at school. In some federal states, because Baden-Württemberg is only one of very many federal states in Germany, they have a different model. So they start with 6 terms, bachelor degree, and then continue with 4 terms, master degree. But both models sum up to 10 terms. So if you want to earn the master degree, you study for 10 terms, which is 5 years. The curricula and academic qualification is, of course, it differs from university to university, but all places now have the bachelor degree, so this was a large, huge transformation process. And we have this typical structure of having models in different subjects and fields, and within these modules you have either courses you have to take or courses you are free to have a choice. So for example, if you look at the next slide, you see that human sciences contains counseling as well as group work, as education, as psychology, sociology, neurosciences. There's a long tradition of having a lot of law studies done in Mannheim. So law and social work, social security, youth and crime, court assistance for young people, all these subjects have a very long tradition and are taught in Mannheim. With the new development, management has become more and more important. So this is another part. And of course, all the classical fields like history, ethics, social policy, mental health, psychic illnesses, and so on. In former times, you had to decide when studying social work if you would rather prefer to be a social worker at the end or rather be a social pedagogist, which used to be two different ways of qualification. All this has changed. We have only one general term now, which is social work. And within this field, you can yourself later on work as well as a social worker or a social pedagogy specialist. So you earn 2 professional qualifications with 1 training course. The fields in which social workers tend to operate are real huge, large, and they differ a lot. To make it clear for the first differentiation, there's the public welfare on the one side, and there are many NGOs, which means non-governmental organizations, who also offer welfare and social services. So within the public welfare, we have the social department and the social planning department. These departments again split in welfare services, in social services, in the youth department, the housing department, and health authorities. And there are, of course, another specializations like hospital social services or economic support, family support, support of the disabled, assistance for the elderly. There's a long tradition of non-governmental organizations providing welfare. A very famous one, which you might have heard about before, is the German Red Cross, Deutsches Rotes Kreuz, or the Caritas, which is carried by the German Catholic Church. You might also know the Workers' Welfare Association, which is called in German AWO, Arbeiterwohlfahrt, or the Diakonie. And all these non-governmental organizations offer different fields for social workers to work in. Child protection is an important field, educational assistance, social work in schools, family counseling, prevention, sexual education, services for disadvantaged persons, homeless people, people who have an addiction or a chronic illness, persons with disabilities, elderly people, clinical social work in companies, migration services, family planning, self-help group, civic engagement, and so on, and so on, and so on. So, well, that was about what I wanted to tell you. So, I thank you for attention, and maybe see you one time in life. Bye.